Shalom Aleichem, Beruchim Boachem, peace be upon you and welcome to another video. Definite article. The. Before we define a definite article, we must first understand what is an indefinite article. An indefinite article in English is a and an. It's much like me saying a boy, a girl, an airplane, an ice cream cone. The indefinite article is non-existent in Hebrew. So what does that mean? When you are translating for someone from Hebrew into English, you will need to supply a or an. So, let's take a look at a few examples. Here we have our first word, melech. Second word, malka. Melech in Hebrew is king. Malka is queen. Now remember, there is no indefinite article in Hebrew. When one translates from Hebrew to English to someone, you would have to supply a or an. Remember that. So, with an indefinite article or an indefinite object, there is no real significance to these two people, or this object, or these objects in this case. Melech is just a king. Malka, just a queen. So what if I ask, mazeh, what that, or in English, what is that? The person would respond, za melech. That king, that is a king. Ma zof. What that, or what is that in English? Person would respond, zos malka. That queen, or that is a queen. Again, there is no real significance to these two people. Now that we have an understanding of what an indefinite article is, let's try our hand at understanding what a definite article is. The definite article in English is the. This makes the object particular or significant. In Hebrew, the definite article was more than likely hal. Okay? Almost all prepositions and articles were separate at one point in time. However, we will delve into this later on when we get to prepositions. Okay? So, the in Hebrew is hal. Hal. In Arabic, it is al. Right here. Al. Okay? So you see the correlation between the two. Hal, al. Hal, al. Now if I want to ask, mize, who is this? Or who is that? The person would then reply, hal melech, the king. Mizos, who's this? Or who's that? The person would then reply, hal malka, the queen. So in adding hal to a word, it becomes significant or particular. It is no longer indefinite who the queen or who the king is, or who the object is. Okay? So it is not merely a king or a queen, but it is the king, the queen. Mize, hal melech, mizos, hal malka. This would be ancient Hebrew. Okay? Or nearing ancient Hebrew. Now classical Hebrew has done away with hal. There are remnants of it, but that's for another lesson and a more advanced lesson. Hal is now just the he. Okay? So when it is formed with another word, it is he, and then you have this dot in the middle. Remember, we talked about this, the dagesh. So it is no longer hal melech, but it is ham melech. And notice how I'm pronouncing it. Hal melech, ham melech. Now I went ahead and added the nikuzot for you. This should be Hammalech, Hammalka. Now the dagesh takes the place of the lamed. So the lamed falls away. Let's put it this way. The next consonant sucks up the lamed. So it is no longer hal, but the he, and then the consonant with a dagesh. However, there are exceptions to this rule, and we'll look further soon. So here's an equation. Instead of hal melech, you have now ham melech. Instead of hal malka, you have ham malcha. Let's do it again. Hal malech is now ham melech. Hal malka is now ham malka. As I stated before, the dagesh takes the place of the lamed. There is no lamed any longer. The king, the queen. So before a word, Hamelech, that is the ordinary or the usual way you would say the, ha. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. You have ha and you have he. When there is a guttural, gutturals are aleph, he, hayf, and ayn. Some people would consider resh as a guttural, and others would consider it as palatal. I consider it both. Okay? Now before an aleph and a resh, the ha, or let's say the long version hal, becomes ha. So it is no longer patah, is no longer the vowel that you see underneath ha. It's no longer ha, but ha. I want you to try remembering the sound more than visualizing how it looks. Okay? Because remember, we never wrote with the vowels underneath. So this is ha and not ha. When it's before the aleph and before the resh. So haladam becomes ha'adam. Haladama becomes ha'adama. Halrosh becomes harosh. Okay? So again, this is before the aleph and the resh. Now, as you know now, classical Hebrew is all about rules. Now, there are always exceptions to these rules, which makes this learning experience fun. Now, before more gutturals, the he, the hayth, and the ayn, it varies still. So when an ayn takes on any vowel except the kamis, so if it takes on a siray, if it takes on a sagol, if it takes on a patah, if it takes on a hiraq, it will almost always be ha instead of ha. Ha, ha. Okay? So it will not be ha'ayral, it will not be ha'ayn, it will be ha'egal, ha'ayin. Okay? Ha. This is why we learn the vowels and the consonants first, so you can get used to the sound more than the visual. Okay? So, ha, e, ghal, ha'egal, ha'ayin, and not ha. Notice how I'm saying it. Ha, ayin, ha, egal, and not ha'egal and not ha'ayin. Also, when it's he and hith with any vowel except the qamis, it is always ha. So, ha-hoshech, ha-hamon. Ha-hoshech, ha-hamon. Okay? So again, do you see the difference? When it's he and hith with any vowel except the qamis, so it can be a sagol, it can be a hiraq, it can be a saray, it can be a pathah, it can be a hulem, but not a qamis. It will always be ha. Okay? Ha-hoshech, ha-hamon. Now, ayin in Hebrew means eye. And agal in Hebrew means kaf. Okay? So agal, ayin. The eye, the kaf. Okay? So again, we have more exceptions to this rule. Isn't classical Hebrew fun? Before the he and before the ayin, and it also must have the qamis underneath them. Okay, so the he must have the qamis, the ayin must have the qamis as well. And when the accent is on the first syllable, this is the accent mark. Sometimes you'll see a little slash here. I have that. Sometimes it's at the top. Then it is ha. So instead of ha, it is ha. Not ha, ha. Ha, ha. Okay? Try remembering this sound. This is why we did the vowels first. Okay? Ha versus ha. Ha is how it usually is. Ha is the exception. So, let's see. Har in Hebrew is mountain. Har. Okay? Hal-har in Hebrew is the mountain. Now, in classical Hebrew, how it is now, okay? And when I say now, when the Tanakh was written, hal was more than likely starting to fade. Okay? So you have ha, hahar, and not halhar. Hahar, har. Notice the accent is over the he, and notice the qamis is underneath the he, right? So again, this is the exception. It must have the qamis, and the accent must be on the first syllable. This is monosyllabic. So there's only one syllable here for har. Anan, two syllables. But notice how the accent is on the ayin, just like our rule here. Before the ayin, the accent is here, and the qamis is underneath it. So this is ha-anan and not ha-anan. Hal-anan, fine. And let's put that here. Hal-har, fine. Hal-anan, fine. Ha-anan, better. Ha-har, better. Okay? So this one is in use. This one is no longer in use. Okay? This is just to show you how it was, or more likely was. Okay? So ha-har, ha'anan, hahar, ha'anan, and not ha'anan, and not hahar. Listen to how I'm saying it. Hahar, ha'anan, not ha-har, and ha-anan. Hahar, ha'anan. Next rule. Before the he and the kamis, he with the kamis and the ain with the kamis, and when the accent is not on the first syllable, then it is he. So it becomes the sagol underneath. So he. I didn't say he. 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 Okay? So hal harim becomes heharim. Heharim. Now the accent is here. I just wrote the accent marks here. Okay? So notice here, har, the accent is on the first syllable, he. Now they are two syllables, ha-rim, ha-rim, two syllables. Okay? And the accent is on the resh. So, because of that, hal-harim becomes ha-harim. Ha-harim. And not ha-harim. Notice the exception. Before the he and the kames underneath, so it's ha. When you hear ha, and when the accent is not on the first syllable, so it's not harim, but harim. Notice the accent change. Har becomes harim for plural. This is mountains instead of mountain. Okay? So har is mountain. Harim, mountains. I did not say harim. I did not say harim. If I said harim, where's the accent? It is on the first syllable. Harim. Har. Accent on the first. Harim. Accent on the second. Harim. Ha-rim. Harim. Okay? So it's he-harim. Next, we have hal-afar. Hal-afar becomes he-afar. Why is that? I did not say afar. I said afar. Afar. He-afar. Because the accent is on the second syllable. Afar would have been on the first syllable. He-afar. And not he-afar. So, this is your vocabulary for this lesson. Osar millim. Osar millim. We'll play a little game within this lesson. This will encompass everything that you've learned thus far. Now, I want you guys to try getting used to hearing Hebrew and not seeing the vowel points, because that's the way it was written. So if you can guess, or if you know, write down the correct vowel points. Of course, you will see it after I finish. But as I say it along, you go ahead and put the correct vowel points underneath the words, okay? So, osar millim. Osar millim. Arath. Arath. Baith. Baith. Gamal. Gamal. Dalath. Dalath. Hazar. Hazar. Walad. Walad. Zavuv. Zavuv. Hayya. Hayya. Tov. طov. يلد يلد. يوم يوم. كلب كلب. ليلى ليلى. مايم مايم. نعر نعر. نعرة نعرة. سكين سكين. عمق عمق. بري بري. بار بار. سپار سپار. قل قل. روش روش. شير شير. سعار سعار. تيل تيل. بهما بهما. صن صن. إيش إيش. إشا إشا. أضم أضم. So this is the moment of truth. Did you get any correct? Great. أصار أصار. Okay. أصار ملم. أصار ملم. This is milim. Now we didn't go over why is this I and E completely, but I'll go over it briefly here. When you see the hirak underneath a consonant, majority of the times, 97% of the times, it is I as in pin and not E. Okay? I. Try thinking of it as its default sound is I. When you see a yod after it and there is no daresh in the middle of that yod, then it is E. This is li and not le. If there was a daresh underneath, well, in the middle of it, this will be le. Okay? Milim, not milim as it is in modern Hebrew. Okay? Milim. Mil-lim. Just like how you're saying mil and not mil. Mil. Milim. If you see a shua here, this is me. Mil. Okay? Me and not me. Let's move on. Araf. Bayith. And notice, you will always see a daresh in the middle of the fricative consonants. So the beth, the gimel, the daleth, the kaf, the pe, you would see a daresh when it's in the beginning of a word. It is never fricative, so it will never be veth, it will never be rimel, it will never be valeth, it will never be chaf, it will never be fe. When it's in the beginning of a word. So this will never be vaif when it is in the beginning of a word, just like that. If it has a preposition in the beginning of it or before it, fine. But just like that, no. So this is Baith, Gamal, Daleth, Hazar, Walad. Interesting about this, Walad is the ancient way of saying child. Then it became Yaled. So you have walad and you have weled. Walad is the pausal form. Weled, waled, ares, you have two serol. So this is, picture this as having two serol. I want you to hear it. Waled, and not waled. Waled. Walad is the correct way of saying it. Walad is the pausal way of saying it. We'll get into pausal forms at a later time. Zevuv. So actually, remember this one instead. Walad. Okay? Walad. Zevuv. Zevuv. And not zebuv. Zevuv. Hayya. Tov. Yalad. Yom. Kalev. Layla. Maim. Na'ar. Na'ra. Sakin. Amok. Peri. Par. Separ. Kol. Rosh. Shir. Se'ar. Tel. Behema. Son. Ish. Isha. Adam. Our first word, remember we saw that it was aras. Now it is aras. That is because the he, when it's in front of aras, it is aras. This is irregular. Ha'aras. Anytime there's something irregular, I will point it out to you. Ha'aras. Bereshit bara Elohim es hashamayim with ha'aras. And not ha'aras. Okay? Habayith. Haggamal. Haddaleth. Hehazar. Notice this is Hehazar and not Hahazar or Hahazar. Why is that? Remember our rule. The accent is on the second. Notice what I said. Hazar. Hehazar. The accent is on the second syllable. So because it's on the second syllable, the he is no longer ha, it is no longer ha, but it is he. Okay? If it was hazar, hazar, the accent is where? It is on the first syllable. Therefore, the he would have been ha, just like you have hahar. This would have been hahazar, but it is not. It is hehazar. Next, haweled. Hazebuv. Hazevuv, okay? Hahaya. Hahaya. Hatov. Hayeled. Hayom. Hakalev. Halayla. Hammaim. Hanna'ar. Hanna'ara. Hasakin. Ha'amok. Haperi. Hapar. Hasipor. Hakol. Harosh. Hashir. Hase'ar. Hattel. Habbehema. Hasson. And now we'll do this together. Ha'ish. Ha'isha. Ha'adhan. Why is that? Remember, anytime it is before an aleph and a resh, it is always, or most likely, ah. Okay? Ah. and not a.